Good morning, Renovo family. Today I have the pleasure of being here with Dr. Mike Pallone. Dr. Mike is he has Pallone Veterinary Hospital up in Rosebud, Arkansas. He's been in business there for about 26 or so years. We're excited. So I heard that you were among one of the first veterinarians to ever use Renovo. So I'd love to hear about, why did you choose Renovo? What made you say, this is something I want to give this a try?
Well, we've always been real interested in regenerative medicine, and Ray and Ginger are from Arkansas here, and then there was some connection with some clients of mine that were helping Ray and Ginger with the marketing, and so I was exposed early on in this to kind of what the product was, and so we were very anxious to kind of be part of it and try it. We have been using PRP and stem cell for quite a few years and having good luck with it, but it was fairly inconvenient to do because the majority of our business is done on farm. We do a lot at my hospital, but a lot of it's done out at the clients' barns, and so it was inconvenient to have to go back and process stem cell or process PRP. And so having the Renovo in the freezer, able to use at any point was sure a plus. And then after we used it on a few cases, we noticed that we were seeing very, very good results within a short amount of time. And so now we have packed up, but we had our own stem cell lab at the clinic that we've kind of boxed up. We don't even use it anymore. So we're just using Renovo strictly now.
Wow. Well, that is great news, and that definitely excites us. A few days ago, we actually interviewed Kara Byers, who is one of your clients, and she was telling us, her story, and she's now used, I think, in 4 horses, and so yeah, just so thankful and so excited, and so that's awesome. And I know recently you had a horse. I think it was Owen. Sandy is the Owen.
Yes, yeah, that's right. And she just sent me a message the other day. Sandy Slocum over around Memphis, and Owen had a acute severe laminitis. Don't really know what caused it. The horse came up really lame around Christmas this past year. And so we discussed the possibility of regional perfusions with Renovo with Sandy, and she opted to try it. And that horse has done fantastic. Wound up winning some big show the other day and really doing well. So back to 100% performance, which if anybody's dealt with laminitis, they know that's pretty rare. So we have been very pleased with that. And so we have actually done a few more cases since then. I've had about the same results, really, really good results.
Wow. Well, that is certainly great news. And we're thankful for this interview. So more people are hearing about that. We do want them to thank Renovo first before they, spend a lot of time trying other things that are, expensive, not as nearly effective. What are some of the other cases that you're using besides laminitis for Renovo?
Well, we have an equine rehab center in Conway, Arkansas. And so we see a lot of soft tissue injuries, a lot of suspensory ligament damage or desmitis, and then flexor tendon tears. And so that was after the laminitis, that's probably where we see it working the best again, is in some of those chronic suspensory ligaments, the deep flexor tendon tears in some of these Western performance horses that we see pretty frequently because they're in such deep dirt. Those horses respond really, really well. So we've gone to where before we were doing it just kind of waiting to, if nothing else worked, we would do stem cell or something like, Renovo. Now that we've seen Renovo work and how easy it is to get, we just go straight to it. If there's a horse that comes in with a ligament lesion or a tendon lesion, we just go straight to the Renovo. And those horses have come back much faster and so far have stayed in work much longer than the horses that we just did strict rehab with. So, I'm anxious to see 5 years from now, how long these horses are lasting, because so far the ones we're treating have gone back to just as good, if not better, than they were before the injury.
Wow. And are most of them having one dose?
Some of those real bad ones were coming back and doing another dose, like a half dose, about 6 to 8 weeks later, depending on the ultrasound scans. And so it just kind of depends on what we're treating and how big the lesion is. So a lot of them is just one and then go into a rehab setting. Some of those 6 to 8 weeks later, rescanning and maybe doing another partial dose. I did one last week where we had done a 3 ml dose in 3 different sites of tendon injuries. And we came back with a split dose after that. And that works very well.
Wow. Well, that is definitely fantastic. So Dr. Mike, there's still a lot of vets who maybe don't know about Renovo, or
Yeah.
maybe they're a little bit skeptical. Speaking to that vet out there, what would you say to them?
Well, I can tell you that, there's been a lot of products over the years have come and gone that kind of claim to really work good. And then, you find out they really don't, and they're quite expensive. They need to try this, and I was skeptical once, when I heard all the science behind it. And when I heard, the claims, I really wanted to put it in my hands and make sure it did what they said it did. And so far it has. I would not be scared of this product at all. I think the biggest thing is using it on a few cases to where the practitioner could see with their own eyes that, how well these horses do respond. It really has changed a lot of horses that would have either been retired or euthanized. And these horses are back in work. And so I think going down the road in the future, I think we're going to see this used more and more and more frequently on acute injuries and kind of a first line of defense on some of these strains and injuries, and keeping these horses in work. And they respond really quick. That's the other thing that we see, is that within a couple of days, a lot of times these horses are, even the next day, on some of the joints that we use it in, they're already showing some improvement.
Wow. Well, that is fantastic. And we so appreciate your, just in the trenches, on site
Sure.
type of, response that you are seeing a man with your experience of, as long as you've been doing this. And I know also, we'll just do a little teaser here. You do small animals as well. Renovo is getting ready to release a new canine product called Alpha Flow. So
yeah,
that's going to be,
we're excited about that. We do a large amount of small animal work, and we see a lot of degenerative joint disease, a lot of hip dysplasia, a lot of back issues and stuff. And I've talked to Ginger, and I'm really excited about using it in some of these dogs. Yeah, I think in like the working dogs and the hunting dogs and stuff, I think we'll use it quite a bit. So yeah, I'm anxious to try it.
Well, we are just as excited as you are. We're looking at about mid-September. I know you will be among the first to hear about it and to get your supply. So we thank you for everything that you're doing out there in the vet world,
Absolutely,
in the area, and we appreciate you and your endorsement of Renovo. Have an awesome day.
Thank you very much. You bet. Thank you.
Thank you.